Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and thank you so much for considering working with us. My name is Montana Scott. I will be your host tonight, and I have some introductions for you as well. If you want to go to the next slide, just a little bit about why you're here today. We're going to learn about the application for working with student housing, more about the roles. You're going to get an opportunity to meet some of the fabulous supervisors, and there's going to be a Q&A at the end. Um, Now, this is a webinar style, so you're welcome to comment in the chats, but I would also encourage you to try out using the Q&A function, and we can answer all of your questions within there at the end of the session. So, without any further ado, next slide. Fatima, could we switch this? Oh, awesome. Thank you. All right. So yes, I'm using the headshots. Welcome to my esteemed colleagues that are joining me today and your potential supervisors. I'm just gonna popcorn around here. Did you want to introduce yourself, Amelia?
Of course, thanks, Montana. My name is Amelia. I work in student housing as the education coordinator. I've been with student housing for the last 3 years, and at Trent in other roles for the last 8. And I was also a student here who had a couple student jobs on campus. So I'm really excited to welcome everybody and talk more about what we do.
How about Shauna?
Hi, everybody. My name's Shauna Carlo. I'm the Service Center and Operations Coordinator in student housing. So I oversee the Service Center assistants in their positions.
And what about Robin?
Hi, everyone. I am Robin. I am the Admissions and Occupancy Management Coordinator, and I manage the admission and occupancy assistants. And I also worked here as a student staff, so it's fun to do a full circle moment here. And I've been here since the beginning of time. So for 10 years, I have worked for housing. So I love this time of year.
Thanks, Robin. How about Amy?
Hi, folks. My name's Amy. I'm one of the residence life coordinators, and I work specifically with Champlain College. So my job involves supervising the residence life dons who work in the residence. I also was a student here, worked as a don during my time. So, like lots of my colleagues here, have been around the block, and I'm super excited to meet lots of you soon.
Awesome. And I wanted to recognize Claudia, who really is the leader of our hiring campaign. Claudia, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Claudia Taylor. I'm the training and assessment coordinator. I don't currently oversee any student staff, but hopefully the next year I'll be overseeing the training operations assistant. And I've worked with the department in a pro staff capacity for almost 4 years now, and as student staff many years prior to that.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And of course, I'm Montana Scott. I'm the recruitment and business development coordinator with student housing. I don't come from student housing. I'm just celebrating my 3rd year anniversary, but I had a little bit of a career beforehand in consulting and marketing for wealth management and accounting and lawyers and government. So I know a couple of things, and I love working with students that like to work in marketing. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'll carry on. Everybody's gonna have a chance to speak. Uh, Next slide, please. And we have a poll for you. We want to learn a little bit about you. Which roles are you interested in? And you should be seeing a poll in the chat coming up very soon. Which roles are you interested in? And you can choose more than one here. I believe that's how we've set it up. So very interested in what you are trying to apply for.
It would
And
be
maybe
interesting to open this up at the end of the webinar too. See if there's more
Mm,
interest in some of these.
mm. I like that. Maybe we can take some screenshots of the results here. Is everybody seeing them live? You can see them live? Yeah, good. It's a good spread though. That's interesting. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to be speaking to everybody today. I legit am going to take some screenshots though, because those are some interesting stats. At the risk of my bandwidth, I think this will be interesting to know afterward. Good idea, Amelia. Okay. So lots of service center assistants, some admissions and occupancy assistants, off-campus housing assistants, residence assistants. This was similar to the Dawn role in the past. We're moving forward with the resident assistant role, more on that. We have some RLEAs in the house as well. Awesome. Okay. Well, this is for you. So listen up. Yeah, I'll formally share the results. Look at that. All right. And we'll stop sharing. Okay, next slide, please, Fatima. I want to introduce Fatima as well. She was my co-op student this year, and I think today or tomorrow is her final day. So maybe if this all doesn't like come together for you for whatever reason, we do co-op students. So reach out to us if there's something you're interested in. Yeah, so this webinar is specifically about hiring for the 2026-2027 year, and applications are open right now. You can apply while you're watching this. We are accepting applications until January 8th. We're doing that so you have time around the break to, after your studies, really get yourself together, collect yourself, and send us a beautiful application or two. And why work with us? Of course. It's a good question. Well, you get to work where you study, and there are infinite advantages to being so close to where you study. You save time, you grow deeper connection to your community. We work with you on your schedule. So we consider your classes. It's a very flexible opportunity. We help you prepare for your career. We were all students once, and we love supporting you on your journey into becoming a professional. And you get to meet people and get social. These are some photos that our past student staff have taken of, their team and their residents. Residence is a pretty cool time, and we would love for you to work with us. These are some key dates. These are on the website. You might want to screenshot this one. I'm going to show it at the end as well. December 4th at 6 p.m. That's us today. Congratulations. You made it to the housing live stream. January 8th is that application deadline, like I mentioned. We will be interviewing in January 29th to the 31st. So between that January 8th and 29th window, you are going to be getting emails from us. Check your email. Mid-February, offers of employment are sent out. In between March and April, we are going to send you out some hiring paperwork that we're going to ask you to complete because we need that all ready by late August when we all come together to train. And there's a little asterisk at the bottom because this is subject to change. Things could change. We're going to try not have them change, but this is a generally good idea of what you can expect for the rest of the incoming 8 months. For potential returners, Claudia, did you want to speak to this specifically?
Yep, sure can. So for our returners, we do have performance evaluations that are currently ongoing with your supervisors. So if you're thinking about applying to come back, make sure that you select returning applicant. So even if you are currently an AOA or an RLEA and you're applying for something different like SCA, make sure you're selecting returning applicant as you have previously worked with us before. If you've not worked with us before, please ensure that you're not selecting returning applicant as that triggers our process to make sure that we're inputting a performance eval. If you've not worked with us, you will not have one of those. Your application score is composed of your resume and cover letter will still be graded and considered in the hiring decisions on top of your performance evals.
Thank you, Claudia. All right. So we're going to get right into the roles now. You could become an admissions and occupancy assistant. You can assist with the residence application process, support bookings and accessibility and unique needs requests, respond to prospective student inquiries, escalate and triage student parent concerns, support summer residents in wayfinding, lockouts, and mail. And this is an academic year role and a role with summer position as well. And it's a live out role. You don't have to live in, you don't live in for this role. Robin, would you like to speak to this student as you are the supervisor, aren't you?
I sure am. Yeah, I would love to. This is a really awesome role if you love to always be thinking on your feet. We work out of the Blackburn desk. So if you're familiar with all of the different services at Blackburn, that's where we'll be. You'll be answering phone calls, you'll be dealing with walk-ins, you'll be dealing with emails, and you literally will have a little bit of everything going on. You'll have prospective students, you'll have current students coming in. You could be talking to parents and supporters, and it's a really cool opportunity to get a lot of awesome experience that you can bring on to different roles. We also have a lot of cool STARS experience that happens within here and within our application. So if you are a computer science student and like to work in like different software systems, this would be a really awesome role for you because we do have a lot of that happening. So I really like the role. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but it is a really fun role. Our staff really like it. So if you do have any other questions, you can let us know. But it's always an entertaining job. Thanks, Montana.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, very analytical role, but very applicable across a variety of careers. All right, we have service center assistants, and a lot of you expressed interest in that one. So you may or may not know that they respond to service center inquiries. They support residents in wayfinding, lockouts, and mail, and they troubleshoot resident concerns and requests. Shauna, would you like to speak to service center assistant?
Yeah, thanks, Montana. So we have on Peterborough campus, we have three service centers in the residence, and then we also have one service center out of Durham as well. So the SCAs are kind of the concierge for the residence buildings. So they're the people that you go when new students are moving into residence. That's where they'll check in, they'll get their keys, they'll ask questions. So it's just the front of line support for those students living in residence. That's also where they're going to go and get their mail. And if they get locked out of their room, if they have questions about things going on campus, the SCAs are full of knowledge and are the first point of contact and are responsible for doing the escalations for any issues, if that may be a maintenance concern, just being able to escalate things appropriately.
Thanks, Shauna. Oh, we have a testimonial break. Fabulous. So this is from Dorcas. Dorcas was an SCA, is an SCA. She believes being an SCA means a great balance between work and studies, allowing her to manage her time effectively while being part of a welcoming and supportive community. What more can you ask for? Thank you so much for your service, Dorcas. We love working with you. All right, residence operations assistant, another live out role. So these folks assist with planning and logistics of housing events such as move in and move out. They lead yearly key audit and March to September position. So a very specific point of time. Shauna, would you like to speak to this role again?
Yes, yes. So this is one person will be hired for this position. Unlike the service centers, which there's multiple people, this is just one person would be hired for it. And again, we work very closely together with myself, and we do a lot of planning and troubleshooting and game day planning for move out and move in. So as I'm sure most people know here, move out happens over the month of April, so it's just very busy. So a lot of key auditings going on, a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of helping the SCAs out. And then throughout the summer, it's a lot of planning for move-in. So we do a 1 day move-in. So that's moving around 1,600 people into residence over a 8 hour period. So it's crazy busy. So just building up to that and making sure that we are thinking of every single thing that could come up, and we're just planning for that day accordingly. So this is a fun opportunity to be able to put your event planning skills into place, as well as leading the key audit, which is it's very tedious. It's very data entry and a lot of time consuming. But at the end of the day, when everyone has a working key, you'll be able to. Everyone will be supporting you on that day. So, yes, it's a very fun opportunity, especially for those people looking to get into event planning, or just, working through projects from beginning to end.
Thank you, Shauna. Raise your hand if you've had to hand organize and unlock keys and doors in this room. I bet there's a bunch of people. Yep, yep, that could be you. There's people in the chat. Love that. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Training operations assistant. Claudia, did you want to speak to this?
Yep. So it's a new role. So they would be assisting me in the logistical planning of our student staff August training. So if we're thinking all the logistics that go into the coordination of our August training, it does require dozens of room bookings. And so knowing that students are well versed in finding rooms all across campus and knowing which rooms they love and which rooms they do not, I'm sure that this candidate would be super helpful in figuring out the best spaces to facilitate our training. They'd aid with the organization of various materials and processes such as hiring, training, or evals and appreciation initiatives. And so that could look like helping training binders or training duotangs, organizing t-shirts, all of the kind of logistical pieces that go into all of our appreciation and hiring initiatives. And so this is a May through April role, so it is a 12-month role. So this would be one candidate for the duration of that contract.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay. So Nicole, I don't think Nicole's in today. So I'll speak for her if I may. Off-campus housing assistants. These folks support students looking for off-campus housing because not everybody is going to choose residence, and a lot of folks live off campus after their experience in a residence as well. So you would support your peers in learning off-campus resources that we have available on the website. You would support with social media and responding to inquiries. And just speaking from experience, you'll probably be popping up at different events throughout the year as well in person. And
Montana,
just
I got my technical difficulties figured out. I'm so sorry.
no, Nicole, I'm so happy to see you. Everybody, this is Nicole. Nicole, would you like to introduce yourself and speak more to the role the way that you'd like to?
Of course. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm the community housing coordinator. So one of my roles is to support students living off campus. So this role is supporting and educating students living off campus, which includes in-depth knowledge of the Residential Tenancies Act, planning and hosting events, and as well as running our Instagram page.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Okay, community assistant. I think that's you again, isn't it? You want to chat to it?
Of course, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes, so community assistants. So they support our students in our upper year housing and our family housing. So designing learning experience for these students, which can be a little bit different than our undergraduate resident students, supporting a friendly and safe community, provide access to campus resources and education on those resources, and then planning and designing learning experiences. So planning events that allow these students to learn how to live much more independently.
Thank you again. We have a fun fact break. You can hold multiple roles with us. Yes, you can combine your skills, learn more, and make more with student housing. A lot of folks, not a lot, maybe a decent proportion, they might be an SCA and they might also be my assistant in the past. That's happened. What are some other combos we've seen? Anybody want to speak out on a combo they've heard about?
Some the residence operation assistant was also a previous SCA who also held the position of an FA as well, a facilities assistant. So lots of opportunity to grow within the housing department.
Yeah. And, sometimes roles come up in the middle of the year, and it's really convenient to hire someone that already has housing experience, so you can pick up one of those. More in that in a couple of slides. Okay, communications assistant. This is the person that works with me and everybody. I would just supervise you. So you would support Trent U Housing social media. You would support our marketing campaigns and assist with open house and tours plus events. This is a live out role, but the ideal candidate is going to be really involved with the rest of the student staff and very involved on campus. Um, I, I don't know. I consider myself to be a pretty flexible person. So it's a role that requires a little bit of flexibility, have some fun on social media, get comfortable speaking in front of people and sharing more about the residence life experience and why residence is such a big contribution to the university experience. Um, yeah, I won't talk too much about my role, but this is what I do need to tell you. So I'm actually hiring this role for the winter semester as well. So while this live stream is specifically about all the academic year rules for next academic year, we are going to be posting very soon, I believe on Monday, this exact role for the winter. So if you're considering this role in next year, this might be something that you're prepared to apply for earlier. Um, would look forward to seeing your application. Residence assistant. Now, I'm going to give Amy the opportunity to speak to residence assistant. I also want to let you know that we are also hiring a Dawn in autonomy for the winter term as well. So if you're applying to be a potential residence assistant next year, maybe you would be interested in being a Dawn, which is a very similar role, or apply for it this winter as well. Um, Amy, would you like to speak to the Dawn role? Or sorry,
Yeah,
residence assistant's role? It's going to take
yeah,
us some time to adjust to that, isn't it? Maybe just me.
Yeah, thank you, Montana. Yeah, so like Montana said, we're sort of morphing what we currently know to be a dawn into the title of residence assistant, and it's very similar with like some minor adjustments, but it is a great opportunity to stay on campus while also holding a really cool sort of leadership role. I would say the job itself lends itself to being really collaborative, really flexible, and also incredibly social. So you're quite literally a neighbor within the residences, and you'll have a community of students that you are sort of their first point of contact. You are there to be kind of like a role model in residence, a leader, a support person, while also leading some programming. And so our residence assistants work very closely with our residence education office and the resident education life assistants in terms of planning events, developing programming, Friday night hangouts, larger campus events. And so you're, again, kind of that leader in the community to support your students living directly beside you while also supporting kind of the greater residence education team. So if you're looking to stay on campus while also working in a team and you really like chatting with students and supporting folks and being really social, this is a great opportunity for you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Yeah, definitely apply as a resident assistant or and both Apply to be a Don at Autonomy this winter term. Residence Life and Education Assistant, a live out role. Amelia, would you like to speak to RLEAs?
I would love to. The residence life and education assistants work in the residence education office with myself. And as Amy had mentioned, we work really closely with the Dons and other student staff in the department, as well as professional staff, to support the learning and the living environment in residence. That looks like organizing and planning programs, hosting events, hosting workshops, working on presentations for meetings, potentially helping Dons with their postering or education that happens passively in residence, both proactively, which means that we know that students will need to know how to use their cards to purchase food or how to meet with their dons to set up roommate agreements. So those, sorry, my cat is here as well. That means that we're working really closely with our partners in residence life with the residence assistants to make sure that the student experience is one that is memorable and also really creating a space that meets our values in student housing. So this is really cool because it's a little bit of one-on-one support with the residence life dons. It's support with current students who are living in residence. And it's really great for folks who want to make a difference, but living on campus might not be as interesting to them because they have other alternatives for living off campus. So this is really cool because you get to make that cool difference in the experience, but you don't have to live in residence to do so.
Thank you so much, Amelia. All right, we're getting down to it now. Where can you learn more? You can check out our website for all of the details. We are at trentu.ca/housing/hiring. And there's a button on every single one of our web pages that you can work with us. On the housing portal, you can browse the application now. And on social media, we just released our first day in the life of series. It was Dawn Success Odia. You might want to check out her day in the life of a Dawn. And keep an eye out for more information and resources coming down the pipeline. But I believe that we're nearing the end of our slides and we can get to question period, can't we? Oh, perfect. Okay, application support. So, if you need support brushing up your resume or updating your cover letter, if you scan that QR code right there, you can get a guide from our very own career space and prepare yourself for the optimal submission. Some more tips. Make sure that you read the website and your email and all of the instructions very thoroughly. I know it's a lot to get through, but there are specific details that are there designed to support you. Check your email. If and when you are offered an interview, be sure to prepare for your interview. CareerSpace has more resources that can help you prepare for your interview if you really need it. And of course, we're gonna have time for questions after this, and you can maybe that will help you prepare for your interview as well. Think about what you could ask to help prepare now. Um, you might be asked to present something in your interview. For my role, at least, I am going to ask for a little bit of a design portfolio, social media portfolio, something to show me that you're interested and passionate about media and communications. Lots of people have something like that. So check if there's something expected of you, check if it's needed before, make sure you bring it to the interview, make sure you have multiple copies and different versions. Multiple role submissions. Customize your submissions toward the role and be mindful of what you're submitting and where. So just check the copies, make sure that you're sending the right things to the right places, and ensure that your cover letter and resume are both in one document and actually submitted. I believe we send you a confirmation email when we've gotten your submission. So this is what the application is going to look like. It looks very much like the residence application if you've already gone through that. Claudia, did you want to chat through this a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you cool if I screen share?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So if you log into your housing portal, you'll see all these different tabs at the top. So we've got programming, housing forms, residence applications if you're looking to potentially live in residence. We also have this employment application. So with the employment application, which has decided that I need to relog in. 1 second, folks. There we go. Um, it'll populate here showcasing that you can apply for up to 3 positions. And so each of our different positions are linked here. So we've got AOA, communications assistant, community assistant, facilities assistant, all of the different positions aforementioned. So if you are interested, I encourage you when you're looking at these, since you can only apply up to 3 positions, that you do take the time to look at the different positions. We have the full job descriptions linked. Read through those different job descriptions and think about what your needs are from the role, what skills you're hoping to develop, what skills and new skills you're hoping to gain. And make sure that you're applying to roles that both fit your current needs as well as ones that you're hoping to kind of have the opportunity to fully develop. So if you're looking to apply, so if I was considering the AOA application, I would click apply. And in theory, it would let me. Because I am in a different format, it won't necessarily let me here. What you'll do is you'll click apply, and what it will populate is then a walkthrough of your specific information. So your name, your preferred name, if you're a returning applicant, if you are a new applicant, and then it'll walk you through some logistical questions before giving you the opportunity to upload your resume and your cover letter. Please keep in mind, because this is a question I've gotten several times now, your document needs to include both your resume and cover letter. You cannot submit those separately, so make sure you're compiling them into one document prior to trying to upload them. Okay? After you submitted the 3 positions, it will stop you from applying to any further ones. So if you come to a situation where after some reflection you decided you're interested in a different position than one you've previously applied for, and you'd like to remove remove an application to add in a different one, you are welcome to do so. It will prompt you and kind of give you the information on how to do so. After you've submitted an application in full, it will send you a confirmation email that tells you, hey, thank you for your application to the admissions and occupancy assistant or communications assistant. And then from there, if you apply for more than one, it'll ask you to rank your preferences. So it'll ask you to make sure that you kind of highlight which of the positions you're most keen to be considered for, just to help us in our decision-making processes when it comes to interview offers and future hiring decisions. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Claudia. This is the key date card again. January 8th is that application deadline. Interviews are at the end of January, so mark that off in your calendar if you're planning to get interviewed. Mid-February, you'll receive an offer of an employment if you have been successful through the process. Between March and April, your hiring paperwork will be due, and late August is when we all come together for training. There's in-person element, there's some online element. So if you are applying to student housing, make sure that your end of August is available. Yes, and this is the QR code slide. Lovely. So you can apply right here. This is the page. And if you're wondering where the roles are specifically, there's a link on the page that shows a table of all of the different roles as well. So that's a separate page because it's a big table. Let's go through some questions in the chat. Oh, some big ones. All right. Some have already been answered. If we were to try out for a varsity team, the tryouts for those are usually around late August. Would this be an issue seeing as training is around that time? Have we had varsity athletes work in student housing before? Can anybody answer that one? What do they
It
think?
kind of depends on the sport, uh, because our training is mandatory. We do need to prioritize a lot of our training sessions. However, some of the sports only require like 1 or 2 hours, and there is a potential to request to miss some sessions. Though if there's sessions that we can't make up because they're only offered once a year and they're essential for the job, that would be one of those difficult decisions that someone would have to make in terms of what opportunity is most important to them. And that's mostly because we want to make sure that we're really supporting the students who are living with us in residence. We really do try to make it work where possible because we want students to have that many opportunities while they're studying at Trent with us. But I guess if anybody else has anything to add to that, there are some mutually exclusive opportunities on campus, such as for a dawn, you can't be an orientation week leader because the peak times are at the same time. But definitely ask those questions as we get closer. We're going to be as transparent with everybody as possible, what we can and cannot accommodate.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, Amelia. It really will depend. It'll depend on the rule, it'll depend on the sport, it'll depend on the training. Um, I, me personally, I would probably be flexible, but there are some things that you can't miss, right? So you just got to decide what's important. Um, oh, we have one about winter positions. I want to answer it. For the winter positions, would it be expected that the student move to the appropriate residence off-campus role if it's not live-in role? Okay, so the dawn role is live-in, and you would be expected to live in that community. The communications assistant is not live-in. You can stay where you are, um, but I am going to ask that you're involved in the community. What are the expected differences between the current Dawn role and the upcoming RA role? I'm sure that's the question on the tip of everybody's tongues. Who would like to answer it?
I'm happy to jump in. So we are really trying to move our live-in positions for our student staff. So the dawn role now being the RA role. We're really trying to move it so there's an intentional focus on community building. And so we're trying to make sure that as we change the role up, that we're really prioritizing that role as being a play as a position and a candidate who is going to be very involved with their students and be willing to jump in and support their students.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay. How can you prepare for your interview? Is there specific questions they ask? Fatima, can you go over to the interview resources from CareerSpace slide while I just keep talking? So CareerSpace at Trent, they do have resources to support you in preparing for an interview. Not only can you scan this QR code and get a guide to prepare your resume and your cover letter and your interview skills, you can reach out to CareerSpace as well, and they might sit down with you. They might provide you with more resources, but those are on campus available to you as well. Sorry, I'm losing the question. Yeah, that would be the best way that I would prepare. You can also ask current employees, current student staff, like how was your experience? What did it feel like? And they might be able to share with you some of that experience to prepare you. Um, Hello, I'm a prospective transfer student still waiting for my verification of enrollment, fall 2026. Would I be eligible to apply for this hiring period? My answer is yes. As long as you're going to be a Trent University student for the duration of the contract, I believe you have to be like a full-time student. Um, is there a grade that you have to keep up as well?
For certain positions, so I'd encourage you to read the contracts. But for some positions, the required average is a 67, and for others, it's being in academic good standing.
Okay. So yeah, as long as you're a student, you can apply. We would look forward to seeing your application. Um, as a Donna residence assistant, how many hours would you put in a week? And if this doesn't get answered already, how much and how do they get paid? So I will recommend you visit the website, check out the role description, check out how you're paid. Does anybody want to kind of ballpark answer this without putting like specific numbers out there? For the sake of the recording, let's not put numbers out there.
Yeah, I can jump in, Montana. On the Housing is like the website, it does give the approximate compensation for each role. So I encourage you to check that out. In terms of hours worked, we're looking at about like 15 to 20, sorry, 10 to 15 hour weeks. And the way that's broken down, it is quite flexible. And so in terms of mandatory things, we have like weekly team meetings, which is about an hour. You'll have one-on-ones with your supervisor. So that might be me, for example, and that's half hour biweekly. Beyond that, the hours are kind of up to you to be facilitating programming, to be active in your community, whether that be like door knocking, connecting with your students, checking in, um, yeah, and just being that active community member. So looking for about 10 to 15 hours a week. And then again, that compensation, I believe, is outlined on the website.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Um,
There's a lot of questions about the start date for these roles around training. I wonder if we want to talk about that a little bit.
yes, yes. So, as we mentioned, training, mandatory training, end of August. Most of these contracts are going from September to April. Um, there are also some summer contracts, some summer extension opportunities. Um, we have those, the RA role. Yeah, the RA role. Does anybody else want to comment on that, or is it pretty cut and dry?
Yes, I would just add that though the positions are September through to the 1st of May in a lot of cases, um, that it is mandatory that folks are available to attend at the end of August. So technically, you do have to attend in August and you are compensated for the time that you spend in training.
Good to know. Let's just see some of the answered ones just for the sake of the recording. Yeah, that's a great point. Work with housing at trentu.ca. Can someone drop that in the chat? That's a great email if you have further questions on this topic. Yeah, for the autonomy dawn role next winter, can I apply, or this winter technically, can I apply if I live in a different residence? Yes, but you'd have to relocate because you're the community leader, right? What if the student is traveling around August? Are the training dates flexible for some cases? Training is really essential. And like, I cannot emphasize to you enough, if you haven't already been a part of this kind of training, um, the importance of being together with everybody. Like there's literally like 100 of you and you're making friends, you're getting to know the folks that you're working with, you're getting valuable training that is going to be really important throughout the year, but you got to be there. Um, we can compromise on some things, but truly this is like embedded in your contract. You're going to sign something that says you're going to go to this. Just keep that in mind, okay? Um, is this being recorded? Yes, I'm going to post this on YouTube tomorrow, and I'm going to send an email out to encourage you to watch the replay and apply, and I'm going to embed it on the web page as well. You're not going to be able to miss it if you're looking. Are these opportunities just if we have been studying at Trent? I will be graduated this semester. Can I apply too? You have to be a student with us for the period of time. So sorry about that one. Come back for your graduate and work with us. That one's pretty specific. What would combo work well with residence assistant? Um, and Claudia has responded with SEA. What I will say is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the resident assistant is a very like involved role for the community. Because you're living there, right? Like it's really different where you're working, where you live, and that's your life. So if you're going to double up on the resident assistant role, just be mindful. Um, yeah,
I'll
Amelia, go for it.
Yeah, I'll also add that that's probably one of the harder ones to combo with a job in our
Yeah.
department. But we do have several students who successfully balance roles that don't have the same peak times or demands as the RA. So we have some dons who work in athletics and some dons who work in the library and some dons who work in the college offices. As long as the training periods for that opportunity are not the same as the August training dates that student housing hosts before contracts start in September.
Yeah. Thank you, Amelia. I will say I love hiring a combo employee. Like as a communications assistant, and I've already said it a couple of times in this live stream, I really want you to be involved with the community. I want you to be involved with the residents. I want you to be involved with all the other student staff. They should know you by first name. They should think of you when a cool TikTok trend comes up. Ideally, that's the kind of vibe that we're giving off. And a lot of the time that's achieved by playing into another role in student housing because you have so much knowledge either of residence life or like an SCA combo. Ooh, that's a good combo, because you know all the key dates, you know everything, and now you're putting it on social media. That's might want to apply for two of those.
There was a really good question that just came in about if the time that folks apply will impact their chances of getting the roles. So, and with a focus on studying for exams at the moment. And the answer to that is no. The someone who applies right now and someone who applies before the deadline on the 8th will have an equal opportunity of achieving a role. It will then depend on the quality of application that is submitted, as well as if offered an interview, the scores in that interview. So sometimes it is better just to focus on exams at the moment and spend the holidays kind of prepping for that deadline that is coming up early in January.
Thanks, Amelia. Thanks. Um, oh, those are niche. If you've applied for three positions, but you'd like to apply for winter position, do you have to remove one? No, we'll take you. Please apply for winter. Apply up to three for the academic year. Um, Back to preparing for interview. Since y'all have stayed on the call this long, I feel like there's a couple of like non-super detailed spoilers, Claudia, maybe we could give as some tips. Like these are some things you can come to expect, very standard for interviews. You know you're going to be answered a set amount of questions, right?
Mhm. So when it comes to your interviews, make sure that you're coming prepared to talk about experiences that you've had. So most interviews these days are asking for you to tell us about times that you've done something, not about what you would do. So maybe leading up to the interview, you might want to reflect on uh, conflicts you've had or experiences that you've had working in groups or experiences you've had in the classroom. Please keep in mind, though, that you don't need to think, I've never had another job before, so how will I answer these questions? Take into consideration opportunities you've had working in friend groups or in volunteering experience or being part of a group project. Because you have valuable experiences that didn't need to have occurred in a prior job context. We understand that for some folks, this might be the first time that they're working in a new job or interviewing for a job. And so if you've never had a job before, it's hard to speak about things that you would do on a job, but take into consideration things that you've done in your personal life in different ways that you've been a collaborator, different ways you've been a leader, different ways that you've managed projects and whatnot. So is that Montana helpful?
I think that's great. Um, the way that I would kind of add to that is always have three stories in your back pocket where you're the hero or you made someone else a hero, you know? Um, you kind of want to keep that balance of of bragging about everything that you've done, whatever it is, and making other people look and feel great as well, because we're a very collaborative team. It's very people-oriented work. So we're going to be looking for that as well. And like I've said this a couple of times, if you're applying for communications assistant, I'm going to be asking for past work. And that doesn't mean it was for a professional, Instagram page. It really doesn't have to. I'm looking for evidence that you have, a perspective, an eye for a little bit of design, or you can pick up on trends and you like social media, and you like working with people. I think working with people would be a great piece of advice across any of these roles, don't you think? Can anybody see some questions that I should jump on, or think of some questions that haven't been asked? Arrive early. Arrive early for your interview. Um, it's going to be a busy day. We're going to be doing a lot of back to back, and it's a really easy way um, to be noticed positively.
We'll also still be in winter at that point. I know we're in the throes of it now, but we will still be in winter. So if you are taking a bus to campus, make sure that you
Yes.
are trying to arrive early. Maybe don't wait till the last bus before your interview slot. Like you never know what's going to be going on with the roads that day. So plan ahead. Just recognizing that we do have back-to-back interview slots. So if you are late to your interview, unfortunately, we won't be able to extend it past the time that it was supposed to end at. And so you'll want to make sure that you are on time and prepared. Feel free to show up early. We've got cafeterias on campus. You could run through your own interview prep beforehand. Um, just make sure you're kind of taking the time and giving yourself the most opportunity you have to be successful.
I was just going to add as well, don't be afraid to ask questions. We're there to support you and we want all of our applicants to succeed. So yeah, if you're in the interview, don't be afraid to ask questions, clarify questions, whatever. So that way we can make sure that your interview is most successful.
Well, and asking questions helps us understand if we're doing a good job as well. And it shows that you're more interested. So, any other questions in the chat, or have we covered things mostly? Um, Anybody on the call have anything they'd like to add?
I
Was
guess the last thing I'll add is just if you end up having a question that you think of after this live stream is kind of ended, you're welcome to reach out to our Work with Housing email to ask those questions. Do keep in mind though, if you ask a question that maybe isn't so common, it might take a bit of time to get back to you. Just recognize we want to make sure we're not giving you incorrect answers.
There's a
Yeah,
question
that's
about the great. Sorry, go
Oh, I
ahead.
was just gonna say that's a great point, Claudia. Like we're trying to be as responsive as possible, but we do get quite a few applicate, like hundreds. So we are gonna get back to you, but if we don't get back to you immediately, just have some patience with us. We're not a massive team, regardless of what some people think, but no, we're quite busy. So Amelia?
No, that's all great. There is a question about if there are positions open for the summer, and some of the ones that are posted now are open for the summer and extend into the academic year. So, I know one of those positions is the residence life and education assistant. There are two summer positions available. And those two summer positions, they start in May and they go until the following April. And then our team expands in the academic year and it goes from a full-time summer position to a part-time role to accommodate a academic schedule, once the term starts. And I know there are a couple other positions like that as well.
Yeah, I can just speak about the residence operation assistant position. So it does start in March. So March and April, it's part-time. It's around 10 hours a week. And then during the summer months, it is full time, so 35 hours a week. And then after move-in, so after Labor Day weekend, that's when the contract is finished. So if you're just looking for a summer position, that will kind of start in early spring and then just be finished for September, so you can focus back on school. That might be a great opportunity for you to apply to.
Thanks, Shauna. Big question in the chat. Where do interviews take place? They're in person. They're not over Zoom, they're not over Teams, they're in person. I know that you might have understood that through the bus conversation, but make sure that you're arriving at the right spot at the right time and early. Last few minutes. I think we've really covered everything, folks. If there's nothing else in the from the panel, I think Fatima, can we skip to the final slide with the QR code to apply? Thank you. Um, so this is where you can find out even more information, and this is where I'm going to embed the video after this. You can replay it, study it, send it to your friends, apply so they can work with us too. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to my fabulous panel of colleagues for answering your questions. And thank you, Fatima, for working with us on like your last night of work. Great job. We've loved working with you. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you at interviews. Bye.